All right, I am so excited to introduce our friend, Traci O'Dea. We've known Traci for the whole time we've lived in Baltimore. She was one of the first people we met when we moved here, so I'm really excited. So Traci is the author of 2 poetry collections, Waving from Azure Press and Restricted Movement from Scotland Street Press. Her writing can be found at BBC Radio Jersey, Poetry Magazine, Literary Matters, the Hopkins Review, the Jersey Evening Post, the Goethe Institut, and elsewhere. She has 2 master's degrees in creative writing from Johns Hopkins University, and she serves as an editor for Smartish Pace and MOKO, Caribbean Arts and Letters. Please join me in welcoming Traci O'Dea.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming from far and near. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to dive in. So my first poem is from this collection, which is called Waving. And yes, that is me underwater on the cover, in case you were wondering. Dear reader, I'm giving them away. Today, my words are free, as in no charge to you, nor any cost to me. What's changed is that I know their lies. It's nothing new. The same old words I used before, but called them true. Last year, I could have sold you insight by the pound, some sage advice or rule I traded for or found. It's not false advertising if I bought it too. The boldest lie I sell myself, that there's a you. So I'm also doing, my publisher is really nice. So my publisher of this book, Scotland Street Press, I sent them a message and said, hey, I'm doing these like feminist reinterpretations of Baudelaire, Les Fleurs de Mal. Do you want them? And she said yes. So this is Baudelaire's To the Reader. And it's as if Baudelaire were a feminist living right now. And most of them are about social media. Dear reader, our screw-ups play in loops inside our skulls and pummel our guts like amateur UFC fights. With them, we breastfeed our bestie, guilt, like tramps provide square meals to parasites. Regrets are fierce, apologies are weak. We make our mea culpas take the heat, and trust mascara tears, black as molasses, will act like OxyClean for our trespasses. From his ring-lit bed sits Loki's look-alike, who soothes our smitten spirit with a grin, and the strong steel of our resolve dissolves like panties when we're near Tom Hiddleston. It's not our fault. The algorithm pulls our strings. We swap our mother's breast for a glass shell. Oblivious, we pass through piss-stank streets, head down, each day, one step closer to hell. Just like some poor lech who suckles and ingests the dried up titty of a haggard whore, we steal casual, clandestine, swipe right sex that leaves us dried out as a fresh pressed orange. An anonymous audience of sardined demons teems like a million maggots in our like-starved brains, and with each inhale, an unseen stream of death tars lungs as we try to focus on the breath. If spiked drinks, date rape, and chlamydia have not been broadcast on the banal show of our airbrushed lives on social media, it's because we fear our followers will go. But among the panthers, female dogs, and jackals, the monkeys, scorpions, vultures, and the snakes, the yelping, screaming, grunting, creeping trolls, in the infamous menagerie of animal outtakes, there's one who is uglier, crueler, but more followed. Though she's not sponsored by a D-list star, she casually curates trash from terroir, and in one yawn, the whole world has been swallowed. It's boredom. Her eye glazed with a screen-lit tear, she thumbs through snuff while vaping cinnamon. You know her, reader, this gentle, subtle influencer, hypocrite reader, my Gemini, my twin. We'll have to clap. So, my other book is a gift, and it's the thing I'm most proud of. I was sending around this book to the world of poems that have been written since grad school, and this publisher, Scotland Street Press, said, oh, that's a really sweet book, I love your poems, but it was during the pandemic, and she said, I want something about what's going on now. And I said, well, the only poems I'm writing right now are about my dad, who keeps going missing during the pandemic. He's right there, by the way. So if you're wondering if he's okay after hearing these poems, he's fine, he's right there. So then the publisher said, I was like, oh yeah, I'm writing all these poems with my dad, and she's like, okay, well, I'll publish that book. And then I was like, oh shit, well now I've got to write 50 poems, I have 10. So I did, and then she said, well also, all of our poetry books are illustrated. So do you know an illustrator? And I was like, well, my dad's a painter, so yes, I do. So it's books, it's my poems, and then my dad's amazing artwork is throughout. And this is for sale also, obviously, and Dad will sign it as well as me. We will both sign the book. And this is the first time that I've been able to read it in Baltimore. So I've had launches elsewhere, and I've read elsewhere. I had a book launch planned, well, obviously the pandemic happened, and then I had a book launch planned with Joe Harrison, and we had a weird freak tornado in Moncton called a derecho, and my book launch was in Moncton, and they lost power and they couldn't flush their toilets, so they canceled our reading, which was very sad because I lost Joe last year and we didn't get a chance to read together. So this book is all about Dad disappearing. And Donna is here. And she's in 2 poems. Restricted movement. So the clause in Jersey about not moving around was called the restricted movement clause. And in Baltimore, the epigraph is, all persons living in the state of Maryland are hereby ordered, effective as of 8 p.m. on March 30th, 2020, to stay in their homes or places of residence. Order of the Governor of the State of Maryland. Restricted movement. No order tells my dad what he can't do. You'd think he'd be the one most used to it, but prison didn't break him, only made him value freedom more. He disappears for days to prove the laws do not apply to him. Each time my heart sours, a fizz like blue-green algae film on stagnant pond. Neighbors ask if he's okay. He's fine, I lie, or maybe it's a prayer. I try to recollect what it was like before, what I worried about. Earlier still, my whole childhood he spent in jail. I slept just fine back then. I never dreamt of him. You'd think I'd be the one most used to it. This one is a triolet. A triolet is a set form of poetry. It rhymes. It's 8 lines long. Line 1 is repeated as line 4, and 7, line 2 is repeated as the closing line. Triolet, and this is another thing from the office of Governor Larry Hogan. Marylanders who see unlawful behavior are encouraged to report it. Triolet. No one has heard from him in weeks. I'm sure that's not quite true. Strangers have seen him, talked to him on corners or some liquor store no one has heard of. Then in weeks, I'm sure he'll appear, cracking jokes like before. Or he might be dead. His body lined in chalk. No one has stirred for some weeks. I assure you that's not right, strangers. You've seen him talk. So I have a lot of entries in here. They're called Dear Dad, and they're just little diary entries. They're iambic. They're not really in any sort of, they're diary entries. Dear Dad, I get the call. I can't look at him. You're in ER after an overdose, awake and in a private room. We talk for 3 days straight. 3 days of normalcy, of chats about my poetry and getting you to paint again, reminding you that I have all your things. We set up a new place for you, a group home in Reichert. You say it sounds okay. The social worker orders a taxi to take you there, but you never show, so you're missing again. A week later, I'm numb, no word from you. In hospital, at least you have a phone. You've lost more mobile phones than I can count. I don't want to write, I want to drink. Bobby gets annoyed with me because I won't reveal the secret ingredient in my eggplant parm. It's powdered almonds. When I'm layering the pan, I get a text from your friend Donna. He's at Bayview. I gave consent to treat him, but I'd really like to know what I'm consenting them to treat him for. You've probably OD'd again, I think. I spoon ricotta cheese on top of eggplant strips. My phone vibrates. Donna is calling now. I guess that you are dead. Her voice sounds scratchy as she recounts that you were found non-responsive in a hotel room with alcohol and drugs. You've been injected with Narcan, an opioid antagonist, I learn, but haven't woken up. They've given you a breathing tube. She says to call the doctor back at 4 p.m. your time to get the test results, find out what's next. The red sauce spreads thicker than blood. Hands soft claw at my throat. I want to push it all away. I check the eggplant in the oven, pour myself a rum. Despite the pledge I wouldn't drink this week. My heart's a tomato pressing through a ricer. Juice forces through the holes, but in the metal trap is desiccated pulp. It was not a fun time. So Mom's here, also. This is a fun poem. Dear Dad, Mom says she's jealous that you're getting a book and she's not. I mean, I get her point. She's raised us on her own. I never knew you growing up. Sometimes I'd walk past homeless men in Fells, ask them if they were you. She doesn't know that not having to write a book about her is the greatest compliment. It means that she's the opposite of stress, what I escape to, not from. I write the things my brain can't handle on its own. I get them down on paper, see them on the page, then wrestle them into a form I can control, or I get overwhelmed. My stepdad's never hidden his disdain for you, for choosing drugs over your wife and kids. He married Mom when we were 8 and 11 and knew you'd never tried to see eyes. Like a sweater, not laid flat, but hung to dry, sagging from the clothespin's bite. Her hair, dyed charcoal black over her natural white, levitates from her scalp between the times she touches up her roots and reapplies Clairol 65. Her lips are lined too dark, which tends to emphasize instead of hide creases so deep they look incised from years of smoking ultralights and years of lies. Echocardiogram. I'm topless on the padded table in the hospital, my back to the stenographer, my face towards the screen. The gel-coated wand gives me goosebumps. Nipples harden. In front of me, black screen and swish. Like breathing with a scuba tank, the sound both drowns out and amplifies all background noise. The black on the screen changes to a mass of gray dots, like when I jump into a swimming pool and see only the bubbles that I've made until they clear. Then there it is, my heart pumping on its own. One grinchy hand clapping sarcastically. Well done you, you've lived another day. She moves the wand to sew some Venus flytrap jaws with ragged edges chomping blood. Then the pulmonic valve, a bulging, wrinkly, blinking vulture eye. Organically mechanical. Its view is something I will never see. At last, in the second chamber, some joy. 2 kids at patty cake with nowhere else to go, playing their uninterrupted game on a loop until I die. This is the closest I will ever get to an obstetric ultrasound. This caged heart is mine and never leaving me. Thank you.